What's up, everyone, and welcome to an all-new episode of the Shitty Parents or Us podcast.
Where we discuss all the shitty stuff from the perspective of
An adoptive mother.
and a birth father.
Oh, by the way, I'm Brandy, and I have a 7-year-old son who's adopted.
And I'm Mr. Jamal, y'all. I have 4 children. 20-year-old son, an 8-year-old son, and twin daughters who just turned 5.
Woo! Your life get hectic by the day. Hey, Jamal, welcome to the podcast. It's
What
our
up,
first
what up? We here. Loud and clear. Let's get it. How you feeling with it?
So, segment of trash.
Trash.
Tell the people what that means.
Trash. This is the terrible, tremendous, ridiculous ass shit happening with these kids.
This week.
You know, we got months and months and years of this shit. Woo!
Who going? You want me to go first?
Tell us about your trash. What kind of trash are you gonna empty on us today?
All right, so it's dealing with my pocket.
Oh.
My pocket. So, my son was diagnosed with ADHD, I think when he was 4, but he was still in foster care. He was in foster care a few months before I got him.
Okay.
So, he was diagnosed with ADHD, and he went the whole med route. I tried to, get him off of it, but he wasn't really performing in school the way he needed to, so we kept with the medicated route, or we got back on the medicated regimen.
Okay.
And so, to help with that and to aid in us, later in life getting him off of medicine, I'm taking sugar out of his diet, right?
Right.
So, early on in school, he was buying chips and ice cream and stuff, and I was like, at one point, I didn't mind. I was like, whatever, Michael. So
This is like through the cafeteria?
Yeah, this through the cafeteria at school. So then I go back and I was like, yeah, Michael, look, we're not going to do, we're taking the sugar out your diet. You can have a banana, applesauce.
But then he might go to school and try to trade it. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, hey, look, I got this banana and this applesauce, and you just give me one of your chocolate chip cookies.
But Michael would do some stuff like that.
I'm saying, hustle.
So a couple weeks. So on average, it takes about, let's say, $2.50 for him to eat at school every day, right?
Okay.
So a couple of weeks ago, I put $40 on his account.
Damn, you good for a month. Right.
That's what I was thinking. So
good.
literally yesterday, Tuesday, I'm driving home and I get an alert from the cafeteria and it said he was down to 10 cents.
Wait. Hold on. You put it on when?
I did 2 weeks ago.
Okay. 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago.
He ain't even run through a whole 20 yet. You know what I'm saying? What he doing?
That's what I said. So I get an alert that he only had 10 cents on the account. Now, let me put a period right there and go back. I told him, and I've been telling him since day one, son, there's nothing you can do that I won't find out about. I may not find out today or right when it happened, but I will find out about it. I've been telling him that. So fast forward back to yesterday, I get the alert. My first thing was man, I just put money on your account. Let me go check it out. And lo and behold, my guy was buying extra entrees, chips, all the snacks.
You didn't open up
all the snacks.
Class. Listen, you get some chips, you get some candy, you get some candy.
He wasn't even open reefering it. He legit just.
Oh, this all him?
This all him.
Nah.
And I would if it was just him buying extra entrees, and I'd been all right, because early in the school year he was taking the lunch from home, and he was still going back to school and buying lunch, so he was having 2 lunches a day. And my kid is a skinny kid, yeah. So he was knocking food back left and right, and I'm like, all right, because his teacher said he was literally cleaning his tray in his lunch kit, and I was like, all right, whatever.
Hold, time out. Flag on the plate. Are you feeding this dude?
Man, don't.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to understand what's going on. My man's going over here cleaning plates. You know what I'm saying? 2 lunches. What's going on?
My buddy has a high metabolism.
Let's talk about it.
My buddy has a high metabolism. He likes to eat.
I'm trying to understand.
So, needless to say, I went to him yesterday, and he was like, "Hey, Mama, how was your day?" I was like, "It was good till I found out something about you." What did I do, Mama? What did I do? And I said, hey, what did I tell you about? I said, what can't you buy at the cafeteria?
Right.
You say I can't buy chips. I said, okay. And I said, what else did I say? you say I can't buy ice cream. I said, now, I checked your account. And that's all you've been buying. But mama, then I get all of that. So yeah, you know.
Got something to say, Mama, I'm sorry.
That's
okay?
the tremendous, ridiculous ass shit happening this week in my household. My child is running through his lunch money like
it's water?
like it's water.
Okay.
And
Clear.
I don't make, I mean,
Listen.
I think I do okay. Like, you know, on paper, I think I do financially okay. I work in construction by day, and I think I do okay. But I don't make enough money to feed this.
Listen, he just turned the water faucet on and forgot that he left it on. You see what I'm saying? That's what the whole thing is. Listen, Mama got it. I'm just going to turn on this faucet. Oh, did I leave the faucet on? Yes, you did, brother. Listen. The pockets is open here on drought, okay? What you doing?
Needless to say, he didn't buy anything today.
Right.
Well, he bought an extra breakfast entree.
That's intentional. Like, listen, if I just buy this and then don't buy nothing else for lunch, I'll be good until I see Mama, okay, later on when I get picked up from school. See?
So,
he had a plan.
Whatever. As long as the plan don't involve chips and ice cream, then he can do what he do.
See, he's going to switch it up to Snicker bars. You know what I'm saying? Snicker bars
then I'm going to sneak him, huh? Then I'm going to sneak him.
See,
Oh,
got
okay.
snuck for a Snicker. See, no, don't do it, brother. Don't do it. Don't do it. Big Mike, you know I got your back now. Don't worry about it. Okay,
Right.
so for me,
Yup. Trash. What's the trash this week?
the terrible, tremendous, ridiculous ass shit happening for my week.
Yup.
Okay, so my son last week get a phone call from the teacher. They're like, "Hey, listen, your son's being disrespectful and defiant." Not mine. Not mine. He knows a whole lot better than that. So I get on the phone with him. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" "Oh, just had a bad day at school." Okay. 2 days later, email come out like, "Hey, I don't know what's going on, but he's not wanting to follow directions today." 2 times 1 week. That's just not like him. What's going on?
My buddy's stressed.
Okay. We're gonna see what's going on. Let that ride. We're gonna just let that ride. We're gonna chuck that up as having a bad day. Alright, cool. Well, on Monday, brand new week, I get a call and it's like, I don't know what happened over the weekend, but it's almost like it got worse than it was last week. Huh? Wait a minute. So I done talked to him. I ain't put my hands on him because, CPS will come get you. If your kid goes to school with a whelp, with, are you being mistreated? Are your parents neglecting you? You know what I mean? Like, tell us what's going. So, try to refrain from that avenue.
Right.
But it's almost like he keep on saying beep beep on that street. You know what I mean? Like, why you beep beep on that street? I don't understand. I don't understand. So I call him. I say, "Hey man, so when I see you, you're not gonna like what I have for you." "Oh, what happened, Dad?" "What happened?"
You tell me what happened.
You know what happened. "I just had a bad day." No, I gave you the bad day pass already. That was last week. No, now it's almost like you doing this just to see how far you can go. Like, this is tremendously ridiculous at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, tremendously ridiculous at this point. I don't understand why.
If we ranking it.
You know what I mean? Like, for real. So, yeah, my plan, I'm still not going to put these paws on them, in the words of Lil Scrappy. Shout out Lil Scrappy. But I'm going to make this dude do something different as far as when you have a kid that is doing things like that and, the physical punishment is not really getting through, then you have to go the psychological route, if you will,
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is, this young man is going to do some wall sits. Okay? You're going to do some wall sits, and then when your legs start hurting, then you're going to do some push-ups. And then when your arms start hurting, you're going to get up and do some wall sits. And we're going to keep on, doing that back and forth until I get tired. And I'm going to do it fresh off a nap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to make sure I take a strong nap. And then when I get up, remember, yes, brother, you got to pay taxes. Okay? You got to pay taxes, okay? I'm sorry.
Uncle Sam on his taxes,
listen,
and I do too.
Come on, brother. Come on. Cash on out. Okay, it's time to cash on out. So yeah, that's my trash, man. That's my trash, man. And I had to just dump that on y'all. And I'm sorry, but yeah, y'all put up a prayer for that young boy.
So you kind of led us into the whole tips, tricks, and steals of parenting, because you said that you opted for a different type of punishment,
right,
getting away from that's a tip. Try like a more psychological approach.
Yes.
Or
because I got beat, and look how it turned out. Okay, look how it turned out. You know what I'm saying? I'm halfway sane. You know what I'm saying? Halfway. I'm still kind of I'm still trying to find myself in myself, but hey, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Hey, listen, look at me. I'm perfectly fine. Look, hey, what you say? Okay, but these kids nowadays, I feel like they don't do the things that we did as far as going outside, as far as
right.
Just interacting. Their interaction is a tablet, TV. They don't even do Tonka trucks no more. You know what I mean? You put a Tonka truck in front of a kid, they're gonna look at you like, hey man, you need to take this back to whatever junkyard you got it from. I'm not playing with this. You see what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Okay, I like your tip. I think my I don't know if it's a tip or a trick.
Okay.
I don't know which one it is. But it's all three.
A tricky tip.
Yeah, a tricky tip
Yeah,
that I stole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
But no, y'all laugh about off the podcast. You guys laugh about this. Like my kid go to bed early.
Oh God, listen.
I actually
never seen a kid go to bed while the sun's still up. I never saw that before. So I'm like,
I pride myself on my child going to bed by 7:38. If we running late, I pride myself on that, because we get up so early and your day just goes and goes and goes, and he needs his rest so that he needs his rest. And just as much as he needs his rest, I need my time to just come down where I'm not mom, and I'm not whatever this at work, and I'm not that to everybody else. Like, I can just be Brandy. So Michael goes to bed 7:30, 8 o'clock at the absolute latest, and it gotta be a very drastic situation where I got off late, I had something to do, another errand to run or something that made me
your sanity. Okay.
Oh, no, because if I'm no good to myself, if I'm no good to myself, then I won't be any good for him.
But Brandon, 16 hours of rest. By God,
my child is not.
This dude up there and slept for 2 whole work shifts. Like, what you doing? Why?
He does get a solid anywhere from 9 to 10 hours of rest. But when he wakes up, even this morning, my buddy woke up at he stayed at my sister's house last night, but the day before, my buddy woke up singing. He was happy.
Yes, happy to finally be able to get waking up. You know what I'm saying? Listen,
No.
finally get to wake up.
The
okay?
one thing I don't have to worry about is my child being tired at school. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about him performing poorly because he didn't get adequate rest.
Brandon, listen, he is going to sit up there and have enough rest for all the kids at recess and lunch. Listen, you don't want to run your laps? I'll run them for you. Don't worry about it. I got you, dog.
And he runs all day at recess and PE and all of that other stuff. But that's because he's rested.
Well rested.
And I pride myself on that, because my child sleeps for both of us.
I'm about to say, you go to bed around 11 and be up at 5, so you get 6 hours. He gets 10 to 12. I am trying to figure it out.
I don't see the problem.
Clearly you don't.
Y'all tell us what time y'all kids go to bed.
Yes.
And if you would consider your child going to bed earlier.
Earlier than that, you gonna go to sleep straight after school. Listen.
But no, seriously though, I can't comprehend a 8-year-old, a 7 or an 8-year-old, 5 and 6-year-old even for that matter, going to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock. I can't I don't understand. That doesn't register with me.
Okay, listen. So you can say that from the perspective of a parent with a single child. When you have multiple children and everybody has their own personality, whether you got twins and an 8-year-old, or a 20-year-old, if these kids they gonna be on different sleep schedules, different sleep patterns. Like that's just what it's gonna be. So you can't say, oh, I don't feel like a 5 to an 8-year-old should be sleeping, at 9 or 9:30, because maybe this kid went when they came home and took a nap when they first came home. So man, I'm not sleepy because when I first came home I went to sleep. So now he don't went to sleep from 5 to 7, and now he up from 7:30, 7:15 to
Wait, are
11
we
o'clock.
saying that's an everyday thing or that's a one-off thing?
No, like if he does, or if he or she does this, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a week, they don't really have a pattern because they're trying to figure it out.
As a parent, it's your job to help your child get into a pattern that makes sense. There is no way I'm going to allow my child to take a nap at 5 o'clock. First of all, why you not doing your homework? Why you not doing? Why you not reading a book?
Because he was
at 5 o'clock. No,
okay.
That's because he didn't go to bed and he had to turn around and get back up. But if you allow Jimmy or Sarah, little Jimmy and Sarah, to go to bed at 7:30, 7:30, that's my house. But 8:30, I feel like kids that gotta go to school and they below high school, 8:30 you should be in bed. Like no ands, ifs, and buts about it. Unless, granted, that like they're involved in sports, and so of course your day goes longer.
Right.
But I'm saying that's the one off. But if you at home every day by 6 o'clock and your kid's still going to bed at 9:30 and 10,
it's on you.
that is absolute. And then you wonder why you don't have no peace in your house because your kid running rampant to 10 o'clock at night. And then you rushing to go to bed.
But it also, back to what you were saying earlier, it also is looked at from the perspective of, are you pumping your kid with sugar as soon as they get off? So if your kid can come out of school and have a Pop-Tart and then have a Dr. Pepper or a Coca-Cola, like, bruh, listen, you wonder why this kid can't sit still? You done pumped him up full of all this sugar, and now it's like, listen, the kid won't stay still. Now you feel like you going crazy, the kid don't want to go to sleep early, you over here pulling your hair out, stressing your stuff out. Like, listen, the kid is only going to take whatever you give him. So if you won't feed the kid, some type of fruit or even some type of knowledge, make sure that it's something that's going to be a nutrient to that kid. See what I'm saying? You got to make sure that you set them up right. You know what I mean? You got to lay the foundation.
I agree. I couldn't agree with you more.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Tips, tricks, and steals
there it is.
of parenting.
There it is. Let's give it to him.
So this is our first episode.
Yeah. Here we are.
And here we are.
I mean,
here we are. We've been talking about this for what?
Since like last year.
No, we have not. We were talking about another podcast with yourself, me, and like some of your coworkers and other friends and stuff like that. We were talking about one. It was gonna be called an agent report or something like that. Right. And it just kind of never came to fruition.
Right. It was just so everything was like the pieces weren't coming together for the puzzle
to look like the picture we were trying to see.
Exactly.
But this one actually did come together.
This is, we here for it.
Despite all that we went through to date to make sure it was set up to make sure that everything was ready to go. But needless to say, we're here. And it was so funny. I was talking to somebody earlier, and I was like, so how did this even become like a thing? And I literally tried to like think back, and I don't really remember. Like we was talking about it, and then I remember because I had just started my new job. This was back in July, and the thought about it. You remember because I was in Austin at that time, and in my hotel room, I was in training. I chose not to go out with my coworkers that night, and I stayed in my hotel room
just brainstorming,
brainstorming this, and then here we are a few months later.
Came back to Dallas, like, listen, all I need is 100 days. 100 days. Watch what happens in 100 days. And I'm like, all right, hey, listen, let's see what we got. And you start just, here, what you think about this? What you think? And I'm like, yeah. So it's almost like the birth child that you had, the brainchild that you had, and you delivered, it developed this. So I mean, I feel like we going places. Okay, we going.
So even with that, so like one of the questions we always get outside of like how did it become, like we get asked the name, why she the parent?
Right. Everybody want to know that.
Like
why y'all choose that? What happened?
I think for me, because you and I we always talk, and for me, I'm cognizant of like the way I parent Michael because one, I feel like I became a parent overnight. Like I had no desire to have children.
My man been with you for almost half a decade.
Right,
like,
and it still takes me time to like. I still feel like I'm processing it, like even still to this day that I'm a mom. Like somebody depends on me for everything.
Yeah.
Like it's still hard for me to wrap my mind around it. But the idea about the whole shitty parents is because like no matter what we do, we will not ever be perfect parents. And some days, like, we just don't get it right because life just wasn't, we didn't get a fresh deck of cards that day.
Right.
And so it affects how we parent our kids. And then some days you just like, you know what, I'm kind of off this parenting till today.
I promise you would hit me up like, you know what, I done turned in my card for parenting for the day. It's not a light switch. Like, what you mean? You can't just turn it off and turn it on.
Buddy, you're going to get some McDonald's and you're going to bed. Like, that's how I feel. Like, we're going to find the nearest fast food restaurant, and buddy, you're going to bed today because I just don't have it. And it's because you're dealing with so much stuff throughout the day that affects. And the last thing I want to do is take a kid who was already in a very tumultuous start in life, and because I had a bad day, make his day bad. Because 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, Michael have a great day. Like, Michael could have got in trouble. Yeah, like Michael could have gotten in trouble at school that day, and it was still a great day for him. Like, Mama, it was great today.
Right, listen, I got a whooping, but I promise you, I'm still having a great day. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you a hug. I love you, man.
And so it's just like all of that. It's like all of that stuff, and that's where the name came from. Shitty parents. Like no matter what we do, we will never be perfect parents. But I think every day that we wake up and we show up, it puts us that much further ahead of the game, and it makes our kids that much better. But there are some moments that we are just like downright shitty parents. Like we really are, and it's either consciously or subconsciously, like we just jacked up parents that day for whatever the reason may be.
Right. I mean, but in that same sense, like what do we have to model, you know, like our style from? Either our parents, our grandparents, you know, what we see on TV, you know, because if we didn't have a silver spoon, but it's almost like, listen, I'm just gonna clean this plastic spoon until it turns silver for my kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what we're doing. So it's almost like, okay, are we missing the mark? Are we, you know, being too lenient? Are we being too tough? Are we being, you know, are our expectations too high for our kids, or are they too low? And like, if one of those is the case, where's the gray area? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because if we want them to constantly, you know, prosper and, you know, be all these well-rounded individuals, then we got to make sure that we fertilize them with the right stuff. You know what I'm saying?
But and that fertilizer starts with us though. Like,
correct.
What kind of parent are you going to be for the day that you allow yourself to fertilize your child's garden, to speak to your point. And that's the whole point about it is that we realize, and I think the fact that we allow each other, like there's a level of accountability with our friendship where we'll say like, hey, I'm really not feeling it today, or hey, like I think you could do better on that. Like I think you can approach that situation better. But the fact that we have those conversations and we have this particular platform where it allows us to assess and check how we parent, it allows us to go back for the next day and say, hey, I'm going to do better at this. And no matter how much we strive for perfection, we will never be perfect parents because we're not perfect people.
Exactly. That is real. I mean, and I feel like just kind of like piggybacking off of what you just said, like I feel like it's almost as though every day, if we are really conscious about it and putting forth effort, we can reposition ourselves.
Yeah,
you know
of course.
I mean? Every single day, to where, okay, well, I think I could have did something a little bit better in this area. so the next day we strive for that. Okay, I think I can do, you know what I'm saying, some adjusting in this area. So it's almost like if we have a lifestyle with that type of mentality, guess what? And that's what our kids are seeing. So if our kids are saying like, okay, wow, you can, you know, adjust and readjust and reposition and yeah, because even though they might not understand right now, I promise you they still soaking it up because hey, their brain is a sponge and it's forever gaining the knowledge that we give them, you know.
Right. I think, and that's why like I take those and that's why for Michael going to bed for me, it's not just for his sleep health. It's also about allowing me to those moments where I can meditate, those moments where I can and pray and just assess myself so I can go back and do it all over again. Like that, and that's why yeah, you got to refuel. And what I'm glad I'm able to display to my child now is because I'm emotionally balanced now.
There you go.
I'm more emotionally balanced this year than I've ever been. And like it was so funny because talking to my siblings over the last couple of days because our grandfather experienced a stroke yesterday. I was like, yo, 2019 has not been fair at all. Like it hasn't really been fair. I've had 2 total cars this year. My mother was sick earlier this year, and I had to like call my new job and say, hey, I'm gonna have to push my start date because I need to be here with my mom.
Wow.
I left another company. Like it's just kind of a lot of stuff that happened, so to speak. And like 2019 has not really been a great year, so to speak, but my approach and my thought process and how I emotionally dealt with the year has allowed me to say, you know what, but I'm grateful that I'm still here. And it's those moments that you are able to see that your kids are not seeing you like break down and all of this. And not saying that it's bad for your kids to see you break down, but I'm talking about at the height of like you freaking out or spazzing out versus them seeing you crying because like you're a little stressed out or whatever. But I don't want Michael to see, I don't ever want Michael to see me just out here flailing in the wind like I don't got it together.
I feel like, you know, just you know, to your point, I just want to kind of, you know, kind of stay right there for a little bit. Like that goes with the repositioning yourself, because if you can make sure that you have the mental, the spiritual, and the emotional strength to carry the things that you know, endure, and him to see that, it's almost like, wow, like mom is stronger than some of the dudes that I know. Mom is stronger than, you know, some of the other family members. So the kid is going to take their own internal assessment and be like, you know what, yeah, even though I was acting out at school, I was doing this, I'm seeing that mom is not letting anything stop her. Mom is still kind of, you know, trucking along and kind of, you know, making sure that she's carrying the weight and doing it like a soldier. You know, like you said, if you was to start flailing and start having a nervous breakdown or something like that, it'd be like, oh man, okay. So if something is stressing me out, then I gotta have a nervous breakdown,
right.
you know what I'm saying, bounce back. And it's like, that's not the case. So, you know, big ups to you for, you know, making sure that you maintain your sanity as well as your strength to carry on through all the trials and tribulations that you faced and constantly come out triumphant from. You know what I'm saying? Big ups to you for that, for real.
I appreciate that, and I can say the same kudos to you because like 2019 ain't been that kind for you either. Like,
man,
you would call me like. You would call me, you'd be like, I ain't heard from you. I ain't heard from you in 2 days. And I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, what happened in 2 days? Right. And you would be like, this happened, and this happened. It's just like.
Right. And then it's like, but for us, I feel like for us to be able to not really release that to the world, but to have, you know, a friend to just be like, listen, I just want to just kind of release this. Are you okay with it? And you know, it's with open arms that we embrace it. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Wow. And so when we do have, you know, moments or a time, if you will, that we don't communicate, we know, okay, well, something is going on because we don't get down like this. Right. And so when we do like have the time to explain, it's like, oh man, I didn't know this was happening. I didn't know that was happening. And so it's like we pretty much, just there for each other. You know what I mean? Each other's shoulder to lean on whenever. So yeah.
And that's what I was speaking to about the point, the fact that there's a level of accountability with us, and that's what I appreciate. Like, as having you as a friend, you remember a few months back on Facebook, it was a post with you, Jason, and Carisha, and I was like, these are the group of people that I know. Like, let's take family, like biological family, out of the equation. Like, these are the three group of people that I know without a shadow of a doubt that if my child and I ever need something, these three people are like a phone call.
Go without saying.
Yeah.
Go without saying.
And you gotta have that in parenting. Like, you just have to have that. You can't always call your family, or your family may not always be available, or your family may not always be able to offer what you need in that moment. But the ability to pick up the phone and call someone else that you call friend, that you call brother, you call sister, and able to say, hey, this is my situation, this is what I'm dealing with. And it's not always a detrimental situation. It's just like, yo, I'm stressed out about this today.
For real.
And they can all right, I acknowledge that.
Yeah,
I acknowledge that
and I promise you, because you are like the type of person to where it's like, you don't really just say that, you know what I'm saying? You don't really just express that like that. It's like, okay, so was you cool with that? Was it? And it's like, yeah. We cool, we good. But it's almost like, because your wheels are always turning, and I mean 500,000 miles an hour. It's like, man, like, did you take that in? Yeah. I got it. It's like, okay, why you don't seem like you in deep thought about it? It's like, I'm processing. So yeah, man, like, for us to have that and to just kind of carry on the way that we do, like, it really brings compliments to the chemistry that we have.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And even to that point, a lot of our conversations in the last few months have been about parenting.
Absolutely.
That's what it's been about, and it's like
so guess what? That's how this came about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. If we were able to take all of our phone conversations, because Big Brother be listening.
Right.
If we were able to take all of our phone conversations and dial everything back, I'm pretty sure this is how it came up in some kind of way.
Straight up.
And Jason was a part of that too, because I remember driving to Austin on the phone with him for the majority of my drive down that morning before I hopped on the phone with you.
Right.
So. Yeah, it's all of that. It's all of that.
Man.
So let's take a pause there.
Okay.
You got another tip, trick, or steal for parenting?
Beat your kids. Nah, I'm just playing.
Hey, listen, don't, because then they're gonna go to CPS, and I don't have no more room in my house. I don't have no more room in my house for no more kids.
No kids.
I joke and I say it, but I really mean it. My kid slid through the crack. He barely made it through. My kid barely made it through, so I don't have no more room. Don't beat y'all kids. I can't take no more kids.
Yeah, don't do that. I feel like because of the everyday stresses that we have as adults, and then also just as adult parents, because for me, I was a teenage parent. You know what I mean? I was a teenage parent, and that really made me grow up fast. To have a son at the age of 17, that was crazy. You know what I mean? That was bananas. My little sister would tell you, I just don't understand how I was, 7 years old and an auntie. Sorry. Yeah.
I think that was the same reality for my younger sister.
See what I mean?
I think so, yeah.
For real. So it's when we as, adults now can kind of look back on situations and just kind of be like, dang, where would I be if it wasn't for X, Y, Z? Where would I be just on a maturity level, or even just on an understanding level if it wasn't for my kid? Because, if we were honestly, if we were deadbeat parents, this probably wouldn't even be a conversation right now. You know what I mean? But because we are wanting to put it out there and express ourselves as far as our perspective of the way that we do our parenting thing, it really makes us reflect on how we have come along and continue to keep on coming on and keep on trucking along and keep on keeping on.
Millennial parenting at its finest. We're trying to break all of it. Generational curses.
Yes.
Generational like beliefs that was bestowed upon us by our baby booming parents.
Well,
and
how does song go? Break every chain.
no, for real though.
Like, you
No,
know what I
for
mean?
real.
Like,
And like I mean like you know, we have our season planned out, and like we're actually gonna dive, not so much so to speak from a break every chain standpoint.
Right.
And for our audio listeners, use air quotes, but like not from that standpoint, but we really just dive into like what our parenting style now versus our parenting style of our parents or our grandparents or whatever. Like we really dive into that stuff, and like I think what I'm most proud about the millennial generation just in general is that we realize like, yo, that stuff the way we grew up, like, yo, that wasn't like 100% right. Like, mama, I ain't mad at you, but that wasn't 100% right. Like, you never saying sorry, ma, that was not okay.
Right. Now, in that same breath, we also have to think like, because times and ages change, like we are in the information age right now. So anything that we want to know, it's almost like it's just a Google away. You know what I mean? It's just a word search engine type of way. So it's like, okay, how do I deal with treating my child better? How do I deal with expressing love? How do I deal with if my child is kind of giving me the cold shoulder or doesn't want to be emotional, but I can tell that they're internalizing something. How can I bring more be more family oriented? All these different things, and I don't feel like our mama or big mama or our great grannies had those type of advances, if you will, to be able to widen their thought process. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, big mama did it like this, and big mama's mama did it like this, so this is how we gonna do it. Right. Well, because we have the opportunity to be able to have this type of access, we can like really open our own eyes to see more and to do more for our children.
Well, to that point though, when we're talking about the big mamas and great grandmothers and stuff, like a lot of them never planned to be parents. They just happen to become parents, and so you go into survival mode.
Right.
You don't, and especially we're talking about back in the 50s, 60s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. It's about survival at this point. Like that's it. Like I
need so many damn kids.
Listen.
I promise you, big mama and big granddad up there had 12 kids. How you got all these kids? And so, I did the best I could. Close your legs, okay? Like, come on, what you talking about? I don't understand. Like, come on, man. Dang. Now it's almost like, listen, 2 kid minimum. That's all I got for you. Okay, 2 kids. Okay?
You better hope, with this group, with our group, you better hope you get a kid.
For real.
Because I told you the other day, like my aunt made not having kids look so freaking glamorous. See? Like in my mind, right now where I'm at, I'm supposed to be downtown on the 22nd floor of some high-rise apartment.
See?
Because I want to.
Like, listen, this is where I want to live. Yep.
Now I'm living in the suburbs because the schools are better and.
Yeah, see, the freedom, okay? The freedom. But in that same sense, like, if you look at it, like, to be able to be a part of a kid's life, you know what I mean? To be a part of raising a kid, like, I feel like the process is really priceless, you know what I mean? Because it's almost like you will see so many different expressions. You'll see so much growth. You'll see so many things that'll make you want to choke them. Everything out of this kid. But then you're going to also see those moments where it's like, dang, I'm a proud parent right now. You know what I mean? And those right there are the things that give you the goosebumps and that just make you want to keep on going hard for your kids.
No, I can agree with that because even to the point, like even me saying earlier, like I had no desire to have children, like none whatsoever. If you would have asked me 6 years ago how I looked at my life, I would have said it was me, my husband, we was traveling through this world, seeing the world. I was writing, whatever that looks like for me.
So you took on the DINK philosophy. D-I-N-K. Double income, no kids. Got it.
Yeah. Literally, that's how I saw it for myself. And here I am, a parent. And despite it if anybody can tell you that if you adopt a kid out of the state's custody, where you're not like, where you don't have the ability to directly like, hey, this teenage mom or this lady is pregnant and she doesn't want that child, and so you literally have the ability to take this newborn home from the hospital, that process is different when you get a kid from the state, because you're getting the kid from the state and all that came with them. And a lot of times you don't know what all that is. For me, parenting Michael is like peeling an onion. Like, I just keep pulling another layer and another layer back, and sometimes I don't know what I'm gonna find.
Right, and sometimes you'll find some tears, and sometimes you'll find some nice peel that you can put in there and saute. You know what I'm saying? So
and you're right, and like you have those moments, to your point. It was like, yo, like this is cool. Like, this is the cool side of parenting. I remember last year though, I messaged one of my friends, Calvin Walker, one of my very good friends, and I messaged him and I was like, and I wrote like something. It was kind of some quick monologue. I don't know. I guess you call it a monologue. It was me just having a conversation. And I was like getting my thoughts out. And I was like, at what point does parenting become cool? Because I think at that time, like I was just dealing. Michael was getting in trouble at school. Like he was just doing like the lying, the stealing. Like last year was a rough year for us. And like as far as just getting him in a room, and last year was year 3 of us together, and so it was like it shouldn't still be this hard. And then I'll have those moments where I would fight with myself, and I'm like, but y'all still new to each other. Like you've only been a parent for 3 years, for 3 years. And I was like, at what point does parenting get cool? And I think for like this year, parenting has gotten just a little bit sweeter this time, because I know one thing about it. If nobody ever tells me they love me during the day or throughout the day or whatever, that kid is going to tell me guaranteed in the morning and guaranteed at night. I'm going to hear I love you at least twice a day. It is not that like I'm like out here like, yo, I wish somebody told me they love me. No, I just know, and he genuinely means it. Like,
let me ask you this: is that something that you in these past 3 years have practiced with him? Because if you said that his environment that he came from was, so tore up and such, unstable, if you will, then like he had to get that from somewhere. You know what I mean?
I think he was just shown that, like Michael. I think from I remember remember the day that his caseworker dropped him off at home, and he cried like for like 30 minutes. And when she brought him, she had also brought him a gift, like some toy, like a car or something like that. And so she opened the car with him, and he was like excited about the car or whatever. And then she like snuck out the door, and then he cried, and he looked at me like, what?
Right. Why? Like, what you doing here? Yeah.
And then shortly after that, he started. My grandmother and my grandfather were there, and I was like, you can call them Gran, and you can call them Pawpaw. And then he saw my mom, and I was like, you can call her. Well, no, it was a little while before he called my mom Granny Carla, because that's what he calls my mom. It was probably 2 or 3 weeks before he started calling her Granny Carla. He wasn't quite sure what to call her. He actually called me Brandy at that time. He was just calling me by my name. Right. And I think just knowing that nobody was going to hurt him, allowed him to just like be okay, to be settled in that, like, to be vulnerable. And I want to say it took some time for him to get fully like mentally settled. Okay. But I think physically he was settled. Like, these people are not gonna hurt me. Like, they're not gonna hurt me. Like, they're here. And so to that, so to answer your question, like, I just think the environment showed him love, so it was so easy for him to like
become a product of that.
to be a product of that and give that love back, because like I think it's a blessing and a curse. Michael loves everyone. As long as you don't hurt him, you don't mistreat him, Michael will love you to the
endlessly.
end. Yeah, endlessly.
Yeah.
Like that kid, and I told you this. Michael has taught me what unconditional love is. Like, that kid has literally taught me that. So, yeah, I think the environment taught him that it was okay to love and okay to to relaxing, if you will, like to like it was a safe space for him. So yeah.
Really?
So okay, like what has been your biggest lesson in parenting? Like if you had to like cap, you've been a parent for 20, Makai is 20, 20 straight up. So what has 20 years of parenting taught you? Like the one, if you had to put like pull one thing out of it, what has the one thing parenting taught you?
To listen, and I mean when you listening, to also hear. So if I'm listening to the words that's coming from my kids, but I'm not hearing them, I'm not hearing their heart, then it's like it's not really going, it's not really penetrating where it needs to for me to, you know, respond different, react different, understand different. So yeah, like listening and hearing, like those two going hand in hand in order to, okay, I can take a breath, I can exhale, I can, you know, attack it like this, I can, you know, let them figure it out on their own. Like listening and hearing, I think that's a big key for me. That's a major key.
Communication, just in general, like people forget there's a two-part to communication. Like you said, there's listening and hearing. It is so critical to who we are just as human beings.
Absolutely.
Like so.
And not even just in our parenting relationship, but just in all relationships. You know what I mean? Work relationships, our personal relationships, like that just kind of goes across the board. You know what I mean? And it's like because you are raising your kid, you're going to see it a little bit more because at the end of the day, because they haven't really grown up enough to like let go or grow out of their innocence. That's what they are. So Michael, you know me, Taj, the twins, like all of my kids, man. You know what I mean? Like they all still have that innocence about them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, my biggest lesson outside of unconditional love, because I swear I'm gonna like that's the one thing that I swear that's the one thing that sticks out for me the most is unconditional love. When parenting Michael and anybody that get a chance to meet Michael, I promise you have the opportunity to meet one of the most terrific, funniest kids ever. And I tell you, he's like
Mike is a cool kid, man.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, Mike is
like
a cool
Michael
kid,
is like a cool kid. Like when you just talk about some kids that are just cool, like take away all his little jerk behavior, because he can be a jerk, but like Michael is like a legit cool kid. Like him and my sister yesterday were talking about the Avengers and something I know absolutely nothing about. Like they had a full-blown conversation and she was like, yeah, one weekend we gonna like pretty much Netflix and chill it and go back from the beginning. And I have no desire in my body to do that whatsoever.
But you're gonna do it.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's for him and his aunt to connect on. That's something they can connect on. But parenting, my biggest takeaway has taught me how to care about somebody else outside of yourself. Because my kid is adopted. Because it was a struggle to adopt him.
Right.
It was a mental struggle to
might not
adopt
make
him.
it, brother. You might not make it.
When I say my guy slid through the crack, I literally mean my guy. You know, in a paper clip where it loops around, and where it, like the part that separates for you to attach the papers and is lifted, that little slit, that's the crack he slid through.
Ooh. That's like a hotel invoice. Like they just kind of slid
Yeah,
wow, here you go. You know what I mean?
No, for real. Yo, my boy, my buddy, my namesake, because my child got my last name.
There you go.
Yeah, my buddy slid through the door. My
legacy.
My buddy slid through the door, like it slid through the crack. But no, Michael has taught me how to care about somebody outside of yourself. And it takes, and I'm not just saying this about myself, anybody who adopts a kid, like, knowingly adopts a kid, not that, let me rephrase that. somebody who can have their own children go and adopt somebody else, I think we're in a category of our own. That's not like to just be all like you pumping yourself up.
And this,
I'm physically able to have kids. Like I can have kids.
right. It's so crazy that you say that because like, okay, so for me, yes, I do. I have 4.
You almost have a basketball team.
Right, I have 4 biological kids. You know what I mean? But because of my involvement, I feel like, you know, I have 7 kids. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, because of my understanding widening from like my lady and her having biological kids and her having an adopted kid, like that's kind of like what you were saying as far as like, you know, being in the class of your own, because it's like, okay, yeah, like you said, you can have kids and you still have the adopted kid. Okay, so she had kids and she has an adopted kid, but it's almost like because of the way that things flow, it's based on what foundation y'all have laid. So big ups to you, big ups to my lady, big ups to all the parents out there worldwide, because I promise you, it's not a pat on the back job. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's expected. You know what I mean? Like you expected to be a great parent. You know what I'm saying? Or you want a cookie? Nah. You know what I mean? So it's like, dang. But to have, like you said, this platform to be able to put it out there and to get feedback and to get, you know, well look, this is how I go about doing it, or this is how, I promise you, all these tips and tricks and skills that we're giving, we'll also be getting, you know what I mean,
right,
from our listeners, from our fans, from our, you know, outside but inside world, if you will. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because, hey, listen, each one teach one. It don't really matter what lesson you learn from something, you will learn a lesson.
Hey, check this out. And when we joke all the time, I don't care how much you show up. I don't care how many PTA meetings you go to. I don't care how many basketball practices you go to. I don't care how many games you ref for Taj's game. You still a shitty parent, yo.
I know. Shitty parents are us. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is.
Just
you know?
keep that in the back of your
real,
mind, you know?
Yeah.
You still a shitty parent. I don't care what you do.
And I mean, it's almost like even until your kid understand, until these kids, they gonna look at you like, I can't stand you. Why you gotta be my parent? But then in the back of their mind, they might be saying that, but in the front of their mind, they're like, why you just can't love me? Why you just can't give me some more love? And it's like, I'm trying to. And at times you make it tough. I gotta give you this tough love, but I promise you, it's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? It's stamped permanently.
Well, Michael can't say that because Michael chose me as his mom. Like he chose me.
I want you.
Yeah, you could have had a pick, brother. You chose me. You chose me as your mom, so you gotta accept me for who I am and what I am. Because you picked me.
Bow. Hit him in the face, in the chin. Come here. Give me a Band-Aid. Let me get the ice pack. You know what I mean? I got you. Yes.
So I'm looking forward to all that will become of the Shitty Parents Are Us podcast.
Absolutely.
Like,
We're just getting started, man. It's only the beginning. I promise
only
you.
the beginning.
We got so much more in store. You know what I mean? For real. We got so much more in store. So
we taking over Al Gore's internet every Wednesday.
Man.
That's the plan, right?
Mark that on the calendar. Bam, set, this is where my attention is going. Listen,
on Wednesdays.
How people can, you know, tune in to Power every week. Like, we want them to, you know what I'm saying, tune in to us every week. You feel what I'm saying?
Come
like,
on over here
what's
on
up?
Wednesdays.
What's up? You know what I mean? Hey,
because y'all not in Bible study, no way. So come on over here on Wednesday.
We got something for y'all, okay? We got something for y'all, okay? We over here dropping this food for your soul, okay?
Yes.
Food for your soul.
Yes.
And it's seasoned. I'm saying, they said that bland stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's seasoned food for your soul.
We got some. We don't just got Mrs. Dash on it. We got some extra stuff. We got some slap your mama on it.
Bow. In the chin. What is that? What is that? That's that. That's what that is.
So, like, not only is this our inaugural show, it's a big day tomorrow. Well, tomorrow for us, today for y'all when y'all hear this. Tomorrow is a very big day for my brother, my friend. This guy revolves around the earth another year.
Oh, what? Huh?
Tomorrow is Jamal's birthday. When you guys hear this, it'll be Jamal's birthday.
Well, listen, I appreciate that. Okay, because it's almost like the way that you set that up and the big stage that you put me on. I'm just gonna interpret that as you singing "Happy Birthday" to me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what that was. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just take all that like that. So you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely.
We're gonna insert some yay.
Right. You know what I mean? I definitely appreciate that, man. It's definitely a blessing.
My guy turning 50.
8. Okay. 58 and a half, 9.
So stupid.
Listen, I'm up there.
Somewhere near 40.
I'm up there.
He turning somewhere near 40.
I'm up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my guy numbers are high.
But I feel like it's about how you go about living life. You know what I mean? If you live in life and you kind of just dragging through and just and guess what? You're gonna get old fast. Man, I promise you. Listen, I can put 60 years on my age today, and I promise you, I'm still gonna come off like this. I'm still gonna be cutting up. I'm still gonna be, youthful with it. You feel me? Because I can hit that whoa. Oh, yeah, I ain't ready. I hit that whoa one time. You know what I'm saying? I hit that whoa one time. But yeah, man, it's definitely a blessing, and I appreciate the shout out. I appreciate the love. I appreciate, just how we are. You know what I mean? Like, for real. I know I can come to you for anything. You come to me for anything. Like, I mean, just what we have and how we are just kind of makes us.
So for Jamal's birthday, y'all go like us on Facebook. Like us on Instagram. And then subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play. Who else are we hosted by? Spotify. Then go over to our actual host site, Buzzsprout.
Yeah.
And we're on podcast player. Listen,
anything that you can think of, we on. Okay,
we
on.
on.
You know what I'm saying? Holla at us.
We on. So
put them thumbs up. Okay,
for Jamal's birthday, that's what he wants for his birthday.
What's up? Can I get that gift, y'all? Can I get that gift of Acho? What's up? Like, tell somebody about us. You know what I'm saying? Because I promise you, it's only gonna get better
and better.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's a whole situation over here.
What's up?
So, my brother, my friend, I wish you a happy birthday.
I appreciate that. For sure.
I wish you many, many more.
Man, many moons have passed. And
what
are
are y'all doing tomorrow?
I don't know.
Oh, so it's a whole surprise. So,
like, entirely.
Jamal and I usually talk almost every day. It's a rarity that we don't talk every day, minus the weekends, because we be doing our own thing. We be too busy. But it's a rarity that we don't talk to each other, so I'm definitely not talking to this guy tomorrow.
That sounds
I'll talk to him
intentional.
Thursday. No, it's not intentional.
Like
it's not.
She didn't even want to, like, hit me up at, like, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, I just want to give my birthday shout out. Hey, what's up? All right, cool.
Why would I bother you on your birthday and your lady is going to be showing you a happy birthday? Like, bruh. Exactly. I'll talk to you Thursday. You will give me all the tea. You will download me on how great of a day it was. I'm gonna text SB and I'm gonna say, sis, what y'all doing? I'm gonna ask her.
Oh, so the messages are gonna go through her. Like, listen, y'all good? Y'all chilling?
I'm gonna hit up SB.
Cool. Okay. All right. Listen, can I get some thumbs up from y'all? Can I get a whole bunch of love? You know what I'm saying? A whole bunch of shouts, a whole bunch of, just littiness. If that's the word. She said lituation, so I'm just gonna put littiness out there. Yeah.
Right.
People can be witty. We're gonna keep it litty. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in, and as we said, be sure to follow us on all possible platforms where you can stream podcasts, because we are there.
Give us some feedback, you know what I mean? Email us, like, holler at us, let us know what's up.
Yeah, if you would like to email us, and I'll make sure that I put our email address. If you got a question, something you want us to address, you can email us at SPRUS podcast, and that's Shitty Parents Are Us, ruspodcast@gmail.com, and we'll be sure, if it's something that is interesting, we'll be sure to talk about it.
We will address it.
All right, we'll see y'all at the same time, same place next Wednesday.
Holla.
And remember, no matter what you do, you're always a shitty parent.